the worst thing, if you think about cohesion as a company, as a team, as an executive team, the thing that destroys it the most is inequality in terms of access to data. I'll be honest. Like, if we're not looking at the same things, or if we're making assumptions that just flawed because we're not informed, then that's going to cause unhealthy tension,
Yes.
and that's what kind of kills executive teams.
And I think there's even a conversations to be had, like, what are we not gonna do? Okay, so we're gonna we need to reduce the marketing budget X amount. Okay, what does that mean to the plan? You put that in there, and I'm sure they as the AI gets better and better at learning your data, it can then take a look at that and give executives the results of that so that it's not 3 months later. I think this happens sometimes. They reduce the budget and then they're like, "Hey, marketing team, why have inbound dropped?" And you're like, "Well, I told you that that was gonna happen. This is a place where it can be very clearly displayed." Yeah.
Yes.
I have to take a break right now.
I'll stop airing my dirty laundry.
It just brings me those bad memories.
I'm curious to learn, like, what is the kind of critical metric that you're asking your customers to look at when they're evaluating how the tool's impacting their business? Obviously, there's a time savings element, there's transparency, but is what are you really having them focus on?
I mean, one is efficiency. Is can we take an ops team and magnify or amplify their impact, right? And it's not about going in and reducing heads. It's about, like, hey, you've got a team of two or three. How long can we keep that team at two or three and they have an outsized impact because we're
Yeah.
giving them access to this and helping them be more productive. The other, frankly, though, and I'll talk about some customer stories here, just impact to revenue outcome. So we had a customer that plugged in Revcast, very sort of focused on hiring for the back half of their year. They were very cautious. They're like, should we hire? How should we approach this? They plugged in Revcast and they found out that for one of their segments of their business, their ramp periods were too generous and they were actually overpaying reps because they hit accelerators during. And this is not a problem you normally have ramp. Every time you're talking about ramp, you're like, oh, how the hell do I make people ramp faster, get people to ramp faster? But in this case, they were overpaying because everyone was ramping and hitting accelerators. And like, well, we need to change the time and the shape of this ramp. And they did that. And by their own estimation, it saved them 200 KM hires in the back half of the year and allowed them to hire in a new region faster. Right. So a lot of this is finding out,
Great example.
where am I inefficient in my business with my go to market structure? And these are things that you just frankly don't take the time to measure for your business because it's hard, but you should be. You should be measuring this all the time.
I think most of the ramp metric or assumptions is based on an ability to create effective sales enablement process than product complexity. And it should be the other way around. The ramp should be defined by the product complexity and how difficult it is, not by the fact that you have a really shitty product enablement process or sales enablement, right? Like this is not really
Yeah.
working, right? It's a probably one most common misunderstanding and enablement in the startups. I've seen this across the board. We don't understand that.
If your enablement changes and ramp periods are slowing down or speeding up, okay, now you can see the impact of that. And this lets you track it.
Yeah. And ramps are the tough one, right? Because you're looking for the Goldilocks answer. You're looking for not too hot, not too cold, right?
Yeah.
Like, because on either side you suffer as a company. And then what is often overlooked with ramps, we focus a lot of time on how long does it take somebody to ramp. First of all, I challenge you on, what does it even mean to be ramped? How do you define that? Right? Do you just define it as a function of time and you've deployed quota according to a spreadsheet? Or do you focus on actual productivity? Like, I don't know. Like, that's variable.